By the mid-2010s, the beloved blog era had started to fall off. Entitled gatekeeping hipsters had lost their grip on what was cool and popular, and in the midst of this shift, the new school would take over. These broke teenagers would use the free music sharing website, SoundCloud, to share new ideas amongst each other. And in the barren wastelands of this SoundCloud, a group of producers would rise and save humanity, one shaker at a time. They were known as the Beatplugs.
My nigga, chill.
Yeah, hold up.
Now, before I get into the history of Beatplugs, we are going to look at what inspired the Plugg genre in the first place. Firstly, we have Beethoven, the Duke of Frankfurt, Germany. Basically, the whole foundation of Plugg is built off of Beethoven's style, from the groove to the melodies. For a lot of Plugg songs, you can make a direct comparison with some of Gucci Mane's Beethoven-produced bangers.
Bricks, all white bricks, like 10 bricks, just hit a lick for 50 more bricks.
Choppy percussion with unique, slightly offset 808, featuring distinct but simple melodic elements. Another overlooked influence is Ocean Gang, specifically Cartier God. Upon researching this video, I found some early songs that matched the wavy Beethoven-esque production that would go on to define the genre. Cartier God is an underappreciated legend and true visionary. Chief Keef's flows play a more direct role in the sound, as they were simple but creative and easy to copy. And many rappers from this era would say that Chief Keef was actually very influential to their sound. You can highlight this in some of his collaborations with Beethoven. For example, this song, Round a Rosie.
Blast them, they all falling down. All I'm sipping codeine, 6 months, 24, lean, and I'm lean until I fall out. My illos, please, check your
And it would be an absolute tragedy to not give a quick shout out to Young Gleesh, the DC native who is most known for his feature on Telephone Calls and the Gleesh Walk. His early songs were absolutely instrumental in the early formation of the genre. I recommend all of you guys listen to Clean Side's Finest 3. It is a great mixtape. While Beatplugs was technically founded in 2013 by founders ASAT, Stupid Cool, and Beatplug 2, the group would really hit their stride in 2014 with the introduction of Mexico Joe. Mexico Joe is widely considered to be the founder of Plugg, and would be responsible for producing a lot of the most popular Plugg songs. Members Corey Lingo and Playboi Carti would later join in to complete the group. The group would team up to create a sound that was both wavy and dreamlike, while also keeping the bounce and juxtaposing this with hard-hitting drums. They achieved this in 3 ways. Firstly, they used the Purity VST. Purity is a plugin created by music/software company Luxonics. Now I won't dive too deep into exactly what it does, as I don't want to bore you. I would much prefer to keep this video as entertaining as possible, as a means to encourage all of you to like and comment, as online validation is the only thing that brings me joy in this gem of an existence we call a life. Purity has a lot of these video game type sounds that perfectly match the sound palette that Beatplugs wanted to achieve, with presets for electronic keyboards, bells, strings, wind instruments, and synth leads. The selection of sounds was perfect. Here are some examples of some sounds you may have heard on your favorite Plugg songs. To be clear, this is not the only plugin used. However, it is the only one that I use when I try to make my shitty type beats. Second is the Zaytoven drum kit. From the clap to the 808, all roads lead back to Frankfurt, Germany. Again, Zaytoven and Gucci Mane basically ran Atlanta for a few years, and considering that Beatplugs is an Atlanta collective, it is no surprise that Zaytoven is their main influence. Lastly, you need the tag, of which there are a couple to choose from.
Plugs. So let me be clear.
And now you are all set. All that is left to do is upload your beat to YouTube with the gangster Bart Simpson photo. Why do we like Bart Simpson so much back then? Well, whatever, we'll dig into that another time. The Plugg Avengers had assembled, and while they were all part of one group, they all added their own twist to the genre. Stupid Cool had his more laid-back jazzy style. Playboi Carti was more melodic, with faster production. And Mexico Joe was a good balance of both. Together, they would set the stage to take over SoundCloud. So who made the first Plugg song? I don't know. And while I could make an educated guess, I'm scared of being wrong. So instead, we will look at some early originators of the sound. Rapper Diego Money is one of the earliest rappers to work with Beatplugs. His laid-back flow would mesh perfectly with the airy Plugg synths. You can observe this in his Diego Nowitzki mixtape, released in 2014.
You can call it Bruce Lee, and about another time, just like David Lee. Yeah, I got what you want.
Which he would follow up with Plugg Lingo, a collaboration with Mexico Joe, and also Stupid Eyes Volume 1, in collaboration with Stupid Cool. Another early Beatplugs collaborator was Kodak Black. While Kodak isn't specifically known for Plugg music, he does have quite a few Plugg songs. Here we observe the song Boomerang with fellow South Florida rapper E, better known as the Humble Haitian. The most important Plugg collaborator is Playboi Carti. Early Cash Carti songs like Holyfield, Smash Part 2, and By Myself were not only absolute bangers, but also musical touchstones, leading to Beatplugs' first real hit. Broke Boy is a Plugg showcase. Enchanting bell sounds and soothing keys, featuring a pulsating bass line and snappy percussion. Playboi Carti glides on the beat, with this simple flow and memorable ad-libs, while he voices his distaste of people who make less money than him. From here the Plugg genre would pick up momentum, and Beatplugs would get a lot more busy. 2015 would be a defining year, as aside from more Playboi Carti collaborations, Beatplugs would work with rappers from a wide array of influences. From Kane Groceries and Goth Money,
Don't run, don't run, don't run, don't run, don't run.
to Fredo Santana, the Chirac Grim Reaper,
Looking in my stash pocket, think somebody signed all these blue hundreds, and it ain't come from around.
continued collaborations with Kodak Black and Humblation,
I'm in traffic, you do that shit on purpose. Stop harassing me, I ain't fuck that up.
to Rich the Kid, who is still alive.
To the plug. I got a
Beatplugs would have their hands completely full. Around this time, a lot of producers would start attempting to replicate the sound. Producers like Milan Makes Beats, K-Swisher, and Chinatown would also make Plugg beats, while putting their own creative twists. They would go on to work with rappers like Playboi Carti, though they would later fall out, as Carti, despite his distaste for broke boys, was a little too broke to shell out the money to pay for beats. 2016 to 17 would be prime Plugg, with the sound dipping its toes into popular culture. Songs like Gassed Up would go on to be summer anthems, and artists who came up off the Plugg sound would break into the mainstream. The term SoundCloud rapper would become an internet phenomenon, and color dread having teenagers with ill-advised face tattoos would become the norm, despite old heads' attempts to sway our opinions.
Alright, we're gonna see.
We gonna see. Oh, you gonna learn.
And guess what? I'm gonna be here.
They almost got me. Now class, if you were paying attention, you'd remember that I said that Playboi Carti is the most important Plugg rapper. Well, that is because you can make a direct correlation between the popularity of Plugg and the kind of songs that Playboi Carti was making. While he was the face of the genre, by the time his first mixtape was released, he had been rapping on Plugg beats less and less. And by Die Lit in 2018, he had abandoned the sound altogether. From here, Plugg would start to plateau. Not necessarily quality-wise, but definitely popularity-wise. That being said, there were still artists keeping the sound alive. Young bands, D Savage, Doo-Wop Kane, Run So Cold, and Wheeland were keeping the Plugg movement going. Within this time, producers like Zangang and Corey Lingo would experiment with more R&B and futuristic swag elements. Rappers Summers and Autumn would introduce their crooning autotune cadence to the sound, marking the beginning of Plug B, one of the first Plugg subgenres. Post 2018, the genre would become niche again. However, the versatility of the sound would give producers an opportunity to continue to experiment. We can observe this in the creation of ambient Plugg, a movement led by producer Wi-Fi and rapper Isaiah TG. Here we observe beautiful ambient soundscapes contrasted with the heavily reverbed autotune flows, inspired by artists like King Slime. Easily one of my favourite reimaginings of Plugg. On the opposite end, we could see the evolution of Dark Plugg, a grittier, more evil iteration. So what happened to Beatplugs? Mexico Joe would start focusing on his solo rap career, and it would pay off, as 2025 would be a huge year for him. Corey Lingo would stick with the Plugg B, which would work out great for him, although it's honestly insane how underrated he is. Easily the best Plugg B artist out there, and he deserves way more credit. Stupid Cool and Playboi Carti would continue to be revered producers in the scene, also having some major placements under their belt. As far as I can tell, Beatplug 2 and ASAT are still producing. Beatplug 2 actually left Beatplug sometime around 2017 or 2018, so he's mostly been on his own. Shout out to them. So that's the video. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all the love, and more Trapologies coming soon. I don't know how to do outros yet, so I'm just gonna do B-roll of some Plugg projects I really like, and you guys should check out.